Good afternoon and welcome to Do It Right on the network service of Radio Nigeria. On Do It Right, we emphasize restoration of values, ethics and norms in the society. We also encourage every Nigerian through this program to do everything possible towards making Nigeria a better place. My name is Onyinye Agiriga. Thank you for joining us. Our focus on the program today is femicide in Nigeria. Femicide, also known as killing of women, is the most extreme and brutal manifestation of violence against women and girls, which occurs on a scale of multiple and related forms of violence at home, in workplaces, schools, or public spaces, including intimate partner violence, sexual harassment and other forms of sexual violence, harmful practices, and trafficking. According to the UN Women, femicide is motivated by discrimination against women and girls, unequal power relations, gender stereotypes, or harmful social norms. A report recently released by the UN Women and the UN Office on Drugs and Crime reveals that 140 women died daily in alleged femicide worldwide. This means that one woman is killed every 10 minutes. These women and girls die every day, allegedly at the hands of either their partners or close relatives. According to the report, about 149 women were killed in 2024 in Nigeria due to femicide. In this year alone, over 24 women have died due to gender-based violence across Nigeria. Activists and civil society organizations have called for a state of emergency. These are not just figures or numbers. They represent wives, mothers, daughters, friends, colleagues, neighbors who had dreams that were cut short in their prime. Some of these women are killed for flimsy excuses like the preference of food they want to prepare for the family. Research indicates that women in the public eye, including those in politics, human rights defenders, and journalists, are often targets of deliberate acts of violence, both online and offline, with some leading to fatal outcomes and intentional killings. How do we stop the intentional killing of women in Nigeria? Are there other factors that increase violence against women? Dr. MA-Chongo of Life Pills Therapy Center tells us more.
One of the most significant psychological contributors is the rigid adherence to toxic masculinity. This harmful construct pressures men to conform to narrow definitions, of strength, dominance, emotional repression, sexual prowess, and the rest. Now, when men feel threatened, whether by perceived challenges to their authority, economic insecurity, they may resort to violence to reassert their dominance and control. We must also look at the emotional repression, the pressure to suppress emotions like vulnerability, fear, or sadness can lead to a buildup of anger and frustration. Now, this emotional suppression, coupled with a lack of unhealthy coping mechanism, can trigger violent outbursts. The manifestation also of this belief in female inferiority, entitlement to female bodies, and a justification for controlling women's behavior. When men who internalize these beliefs, such men may view violence as a legitimate means of enforcing their perceived superiority.
As Dr. MA-Chongo says, suppression of emotions, patriarchal society are some contributors that promotes violence against women. Apart from these factors mentioned, some have blamed mental health issues on why some men beat or kill their intimate partners.
Well, there's a growing understanding of the link between mental health and behavior. The idea that abusive men simply have mental health issues can be a dangerous oversimplification. It risks excusing abusive behavior and shifting blame away from the perpetrator. It's crucial to understand that having a mental health condition is not a guarantee precursor to abuse, and many people with these conditions never engage in abusive behaviors. Mental health conditions do not cause abuse. Abuse is a choice driven by a desire for power and control.
The program is Do It Right on the network service of Radio Nigeria, and our focus today is on femicide in Nigeria. Gender-related killings and other forms of violence against women and girls are not inevitable. Most times, femicide is as a result of repeated and escalating episodes of gender-based violence, which means it can and must be prevented if the early signs of violence are addressed effectively. Speaking of early signs, what signs should young women look out for so they don't fall victims to gender-based violence? Again, Dr. MA-Chongo of Life Pills Therapy Center shares some of these warning signs.
Well, the warning signs for women to be on the lookout, either in a relationship or in a marriage context. All right, these signs often appear early in a relationship and can be subtle, dismissed as probably quirks or even mistaken for affection. Number one, I would say a controlling behavior. This goes beyond caring. It's about dictating your choices, constant monitoring of your whereabouts, controlling your finances, limiting access to money, or requiring detailed accounts of spending, isolating you from friends and family, expressing disapproval, of creating conflicts that leads you to distancing yourself from your support network, demanding to know probably who you're communicating with, criticizing your appearance, your clothes, your behavior in public or private spaces. Jealousy and possessiveness. Extreme jealousy, even without reason, is a major red flag. Accusations of infidelity without evidence. Anger or resentment towards your relationship with friends, family, colleagues, and the rest. It's very important you be on the lookout for that. A rapid relationship progression, an intense romance can be a tactic to quickly gain control. So be careful if he pressures you to commit very early, in a relationship, or asking you to move in with him. If he declares love at first sight and overwhelms you with affection and attention, please be very careful. Physical intimidation. This does not necessarily involve direct physical contact, probably stomping around, punching walls or throwing objects during arguments, blocking your way, controlling reproductive choices, interfering with your reproductive rights, is a serious form of control. You must be on the lookout if he also has history of violence. All right, threats of suicide or homicide. Never dismiss these threats. They may be manipulative, but they also indicate a potential for extreme harm.
On that note, we end this week's edition of Do It Right. Join us next week, same time, same station, for Do It Right. Vivian Onoware produced this program, and I am Onyinye Ageriga. And I leave you with this quote from Kofi Annan. Violence against women is perhaps the most shameful human rights violation, and it is perhaps the most pervasive. It knows no boundaries of geography, culture, or wealth. As long as it continues, we cannot claim to be making real progress towards equality, development, and peace. End of quote. Bye-bye.